Okay, welcome to the last session of mass spectrometry. Okay, so we're going to see the working principle of detectors. Okay, so in the previous class we have seen about what is a mass spectrometry, what are the types of mass spectrometry. Okay, and we concentrated on single focusing, double focusing, time of flight and quadruple mass spectrometers. We also saw the type of ionization that are used. Okay, so now in the far end of the mass spectrometer detectors, and the purpose of the detector is to convert, or we want to measure this ionic current. Okay, so what is the underlying principle is you have to convert this ionic current into an electronic current. You have to convert this ionic current into electronic current. Thereby you can measure the current. From that you can tell what is the amount of ion that is present. Okay, so that is the ultimate aim of the detector. The simplest type of detector that we are going to see is called as Faraday's cup. Okay, this is the simplest type of detector we have. Okay, so basically it has a cup kind of thing. It has a cup. Okay, it is a cup basically. So it is having some element here. That is actually it is having a kind of element here. This element, it is made up of either cesium antimony or beryllium oxide, or these are the common elements that are used. Okay, cesium, antimony, beryllium oxide. Okay, so you allow the ion beam to pass. Okay, when the ion beam strikes this particular element, and this will be maintained at a potential. These electrodes will be maintained at a potential when it strikes this element. Okay, so also gallium phosphorus, GaP. Okay, when it strikes, it actually produces secondary electrons. It will produce, I use a different color. It produces secondary electrons. These secondary electrons will constitute a current. You can just put a resistance. It will constitute a current. This current you measure. So that current will be proportional to the ionic current. Okay, so this is the basic principle. Okay, this is a very simple instrument. It is having very low resolution. Okay, very low resolution. Basic idea is you convert the ions into secondary electrons. Ions are converted into secondary electrons. How? By using a particular kind of material. These particular are maintained at different potentials. Okay, so because of this potential, when these particular ions get absorbed, they emit the electrons. These secondary electrons that are emitted will constitute a current. This current is proportional to the ions. Okay, this is the simplest detector. It's called as Faraday's cup. So the second type of detector we are going to see is ion multiplier, or we can just put electron multiplier. Okay, this is actually the extension of our Faraday cup. What we did in Faraday cup, we used a single diode. So we used the potential that we served, that is called as a diode. Okay, the one that was used to generate the secondary electrons, they are called as diodes. We used a single diode, thereby we got a very less amplification signal. Okay, if we use multiple diodes, you will get still more amplified signal. That is the basic idea of using a electron multiplier. Okay, so arrangement will be something looking like this. Okay, so you have a series of diodes. So first, when the ions enter, okay, first it will emit a very few secondary electrons. These secondary electrons will get multiplied, because for each diode the potential is getting increased. Compared to this diode, this potential is high. Compared to this potential is high. Compared to this potential is high. Okay, because of the increase in potential, more amount of secondary electrons are emitted. Okay, this will cause abundant secondary electrons, which will constitute a current. That current is measured. It is proportional to the ionic current. Okay, so what you are trying to do is, in the previous Faraday curve we had only one diode. Okay, here we are going to have a series of diodes at increasing potential. Because of that, more and more secondary electrons are generated. These secondary electrons will constitute a current. Okay, so this is an extension of your Faraday's cup, electron multiplier. So it is an extension of your Faraday's cup. Extension of Faraday's cup is electron multiplier. Okay, so third method, it is called as scintillator or scintillation counter. Okay, it is called as scintillator or scintillation counter. So what this basically contains? This basically has a photocathode. It has a first you have a diode. Similar to the previous principle, you have a diode. Okay, so diode is followed by element called scintillator. Scintillate is called as to scintillate. If you call to scintillate, the meaning of this particular word is to glow. The meaning of this word is to glow. Scintillate means to glow. Okay, so this particular scintillator, it is made up of an element of phosphorus. Okay, so what essentially we are trying to do is, so first ions are falling on this diode, which is maintained at a potential. Because of these diodes, secondary electrons are generated. These secondary electrons, which falls on your phosphorus. Okay, when this phosphorus absorbs these secondary electrons, what essentially happens is, it's a normal emission mechanism. So all the phosphor will absorb these electrons, will get excited to an high energy state. When they come back to the normal state, they emit photons. They emit light photons. Okay, these light photons, you are amplifying it with a series of diodes. These light photons, you are amplifying it with a series of diodes which are at increasing voltage. This particular part you might have already studied. This is called as photomultiplier tube. So whatever is emerging out of this particular phosphorus tube is going to get multiplied several times. Because of the high potential that is maintained in different diodes, this is going to be get multiplied. Okay, so this light photons, okay, amplified light photons are converted into electrical signal by some photomaterial. You are amplifying it in light form. At the end you have a photocathode which will constitute a current. Okay, this current you will be measuring it. Okay, In the previous cases, you amplified as an electron itself. Here, the electron is converted into light. The electron is converted into light. The light is amplified by the diodes. The light is amplified by the diodes, which finally constitute your current. Okay. So by this way, you will get a better amplification, and very high resolution is possible. Very high resolution is possible. Okay. So this type of detectors. So the collected output will be directly proportional to the ion intensity. So these are the different types of detectors that are employed for mass spectrometry. Okay. So your typical mass spectrum will be something looking like this. I am going to draw the spectrum for molybdenum. Okay, the metal molybdenum, the mass spectrum of molybdenum. As we all know, the x-axis is the mass to charge ratio. The y-axis is either given as relative abundance or relative intensity. It is given as relative abundance or relative intensity. Okay, so we'll have peaks. I'm just drawing peaks. So we have one peak at say 98, we have one peak at say 100, then 97, 96, 94, 95. Okay, even 93, 92. Okay, so what this actually, so actually molybdenum corresponds to 98. Molybdenum corresponds to 98. Okay, all these are, so you have, apart from molybdenum, apart from 98, you have 93, 94, 95, 96 and 97 and 100. Okay, all these 7 peaks are isotopes. All these 7 peaks are isotope peaks. Okay, and the height indicates the relative abundance of each isotope. The heights indicate the relative abundance of each isotope. Okay, normally the isotope, the most characteristic isotope line is M+1 ion. Okay, suppose 98 is the actual mass, actual thing, plus 1, 99, M+2. Okay, M+2 and M+1 are normally M+1 and M+2 are normally associated with isotopes. Okay, so M+2 ions and M+1 ions are normally associated with isotopes. So these are all the isotopes. These are the isotopes of molybdenum. Okay, so this is how your typical mass spectrometer will look like. Okay, so that's how we have discussed the entire mass spectrometer. We started up with the underlying principle of mass spectrometer, where we are actually using fast moving electrons to bombard with a mass with a particular molecule. Because of that bombardment, it actually gets fragmented. The way in which it fragments give an idea about the structure of that particular molecule. That is the basic idea of your mass spectrometer. So we have discussed 4 different types of mass spectrometer, which is depending upon the type of analyzer used. In first single focusing, we used only first the time of flight, we just allowed them to flow. In single focusing, used a magnetic sector. In double focusing, used an additional electrostatic, and in quadruple used 4 tubes to produce the different kinds of things. Okay, to produce the band effect, thereby a particular mass to charge was separated. So this is how your mass spectrometer works. Okay, so thank you.